Two world title fights coming from Detroit, but first we go back to Coventry, and by all accounts the fight of the night there. This for the British welterweight title. Derek Roche of Leeds making his second defence of his crown against Scott Dixon, the young Scotsman, hoping to show the continued improvement in Scottish fortunes after Drew Docherty and Keith Knox's recent successes, of course. It was a thriller. Let's join it at the start.
12 rounds for the British welterweight title. The champion, Derek Roche from Leeds, in the Wexford tartan kilt, up against Super Scott Dixon, as he calls himself, in the blue, yellow and red from Hamilton in Scotland.
Let him go, Dixon. Hold him. Hold him, Dixon. Let him go.
If Derek Roche wins tonight, he wins the Lonsdale belt outright. But for Dixon, it's a massive opportunity and the one he's been waiting for.
Well, Dixon, as his record tells you, not an awful lot of punching power, obviously not a knockout specialist, but he's gritty, he's strong, he's tall and he's quick, he's an excellent boxer. So obviously he'll be looking to try to keep this at long range and maybe just spoil inside, certainly in the first couple of rounds. But this is a little step up from anything he's faced before.
Many of his professional boxing colleagues believe Scott Dixon is the most talented welterweight in Britain. Many of the boxing public won't even have heard of him. It's been a difficult rise, but Dixon has been waiting for this opportunity. He's put himself through a punishing routine in the last 8 weeks, including 6,000 sit-ups, 1,600 chin-ups, and miles of pounding the roads. Oh, and that's a good left hand from Dixon. That worked. Maybe it's paid off. Roche goes down, and his chin has been a worry in the past, Derek Roche, but it was a flash knockdown. But first success for Scott Dixon, and that will give him tremendous encouragement.
Yep, that's exactly what you want. A big round in the bag. You've dropped your opponent in the first round. If you're the slight underdog, that certainly turns things around. It was a flash knockdown, but it was a lovely punch. It was one of those totally unexpected. Roche just seemed ready to back off from a little attack he had just mounted, and over came the left hook, beauty, bang on the chin. He looks to have recovered completely. What an excellent start for Scott Dixon.
He's been down 5 times in his career, Roche, but remains unbeaten. 21 fights, 21 wins. He normally gets up to stop his opponent. But Dixon, with only 3 knockouts in his 19 wins, what a start for the man from Hamilton outside Glasgow. Again looking for the left hand. Tremendous round for Scott Dixon. The corner of Derek Roche, Kevin Spratt and John Silabansky from Bradford. What will they be saying to him in there?
Well, I think they'll be saying just settle down, you've just had an excellent round. See, he just seemed to be ready to back off, but not thinking about defence at all. I think he was more shocked than anything that Dixon could bring up a decent punch from the crouch he was in. But there you go, bang on the chin. Never seriously hurt him, but lovely punch, bang on the button, and it gets Dixon off to an excellent start. And Dixon was clever enough not to go looking for the finish. I think he knows himself, he's not a knockout specialist. It's not too often he puts people on the floor, so he just continued with his boxing and got a big scoring round in the bag.
Second round in the second defence of the British welterweight title for Derek Roche. Boxing out of Leeds, originally from Ireland, hence his kilt. He's off to a poor start against Scott Dixon, who had Roche down in the first. Dixon in the yellow, blue and red, with Scott on his waistband, and Super Scott shaved into his scalp. He's been talking about this fight for so long, Scott Dixon. He's been training down at the Peacock Gym.
That's the left hook again. It's the second one he's landed this round. He's leading with it as well, which is surprising. I mean, I think Roche is, maybe his pride is hurt a little bit and he's looking to turn things around, and he's maybe taking chances he shouldn't be taking. That's the left hook landed twice already in this round.
He is very strong though, Derek Roche. Has 12 knockouts to his name. Dixon has been sparring with Gary Delaney, a heavyweight, to prepare him for this.
Dixon's not really making use of his reach. I thought he'd have been trying to keep Roche on the end of that jab, but Roche seems to be coming past that.
Do you think that's the wrong tactics?
Yep, I think he's got to put a bit more snap into his jab. See, he's throwing the jab and then following on into a clinch. He has to try and keep Roche away from him. Roche is very strong. And 12 rounds is a long time if you've been wrestled here and there. His defences are good, and his punches certainly just a little bit cleaner than the champions at the moment.
Trying to control the centre of the ring now, Roche. And get his jab and left hands working. Physically looks the bigger, although Dixon is tall at 6 foot. Tall and lanky. Originally, amazingly, a flyweight in the amateurs. He's built himself up, and he's built himself up pretty solidly, Scott Dixon.
Yeah, as I was saying in the first round, he's not a powerhouse, but he's very gritty. Takes a punch well, and he really fancied the job. You can see before the first bell rung, he's really pumped up for this. And doing well in the second round as well here.
A little bump just appeared on Dixon's forehead. He's standing and training him with it a bit though, isn't he, Jim?
That's a surprise, isn't it? Yep, but still on that card, still coming up the top.
In Scott Dixon's corner, the Peacock team of Martin Bowers, the fitness trainer, and Paul Lawson, former cruiserweight fighter who fought in the Olympics.
So that's the leading left hook again. You don't expect Dixon to be catching a British champion with a leading left hook a couple of times so quickly in the round. But see, he's punching just a little bit cleaner, and Roche not really been allowed to come up with much so far. He's just lacking imagination, Roche. He has to really put this little fellow here, or this tall fellow here, under some more pressure.
We see there, Scott Dixon has the success rate. He hasn't thrown as many, but he's landed more. Round 3 of this interesting British welterweight title fight. Scott Dixon has made a terrific start in the blue, yellow and red, up against Derek Roche, the Wexford tartan kilt. Roche has been enjoying something of an Indian summer. It's all come together for him this year. He's really partied like it's 1999, as his parents and fans back in his hometown of Wexford in Ireland have. They put on street parties when he wins. In return, Roche wears the colours. He says it's his battle dress, and he's got a battle on his hand tonight.
Becoming a little bit scrappy inside. I think that I'm just going to say that is down to Dixon. He's clutching a little bit inside. I'm surprised he's allowing Roche to close. I thought he'd be using his feet, using his long jab and trying to back away. He's flicking with the jab and standing in range. Kind of messy around this one so far.
Normally moves a great deal, Scott Dixon. Light on his feet. That doesn't seem to be the plan tonight. Maybe he thinks he's stronger. because of all the fitness training he's been doing.
And he's blocking most of Roche's work. Roche not really getting through with any clean shots.
Also, Roche has a bloodied nose now. It was a left hand that got through from Dixon. He dabs away at it. Roche, he's trying to turn it into a street brawl.
Well, Roche has to change the pattern of this, has to change the rhythm. Scott Dixon will be delighted the way things have gone so far. He hasn't really been pressurised severely, working away all at his own pace.
Wild shots from Derek Roche. Just the more organised, compact boxing coming from Dixon.
Well, this has been a scrappy round, but I still feel that Dixon's defences have been kept nice and tight, blocking most of what Roche is throwing and still jolting the odd jab and hook through.
I was talking to Derek Roche. He said he wants to grind him down. He's not doing that at the moment. And there's some concern in Roche's corner. Kevin Spratt, John Silabansky, maybe reading the riot act a little.
So I think the problem, Adam, everything he does seems a little bit flat at the moment. I mean, Roche is just coming forward, but not really showing any imagination. He's not really giving Dixon anything to think about. He's just plodding forward with his hands high, not doing anything clever whatsoever. So these guys, it must be trying to get him out of that kind of malaise he seems to be in and get him moving.
All calm in the Dixon corner. Fourth round of Derek Roche's second defence of this British welterweight title, and this could be his hardest fight to date. He was down in the first round, a cheeky left from Scott Dixon, and he needs to get back to his boxing a little, Roche. The dilemma last time for Roche was Georgie Smith, a similar sort of boxer to Dixon, and he managed to floor him and beat him on points. He worked that dilemma out. But he's having trouble with Dixon and this left hand.
Yep, it's the sharpness. I would have thought it would have been the reach advantage that would be giving him problems, but it's not. It's the sharpness, because Dixon is standing in punching range, but Roche is not getting the shots off quickly enough, and Dixon's sharpness is giving him the problems, especially with the left hook.
Roche aiming for the body there. His corner urged him on. Maybe they want to weaken Dixon towards the later rounds.
I don't think what we're seeing from Roche at the moment is part of any plan, Adam. I think he's really struggling here. He just can't seem to get any sharpness in his work. Just everything he's doing looking a little bit stale. Whereas Dixon, on the other hand, he feels up. He's scored a knockdown, won a couple of rounds. He must feel himself, and he is really enjoying himself.
Using the jab and uppercut to good effect as well. Nice skills from Scott Dixon.
There's one complaint with Dixon at the moment. He just tends to grab hold too much up inside. If he's not going to work inside, then he wants to try and keep it at long range. He's going to have to watch. The referee's warned him already. You don't want to start having rounds deducted because you're holding persistently.
He's got a massive reach advantage, Dixon, but can he hold Roche off for the 12 rounds?
Well, the strength, that's obviously what we said at the start in the first round. It's a 12 rounds. When the other fellow was stronger than you and punches harder, you know there's going to be some tough patches in the fight. It's just how Dixon copes with that. The early stages, we expected it to be Dixon's territory. That's how it's shaping up. But it's obviously the last 6 rounds that it's all going to count.
Don't write Derek Roche off. He has floored 26 times his opponents, 26 knockdowns. And Dixon has only managed 3. Maybe more of a level round there. Not much happened.
November, Sky brings you 5 world title fights. On Sky Sports, Joe Calzaghe steps into the ring to face Omar Shaker. Method Man Jason Matthews faces undefeated Bert Schenk. Billy Schwer fights for the crown against Steve Johnston. Plus on Sky Box Office, Manuel Medina faces up to the Yorkshire Hunter Paul Ingle and the eagerly awaited rematch, Holyfield v Lewis, a knockout month of boxing on Sky in November.
Seconds out for 2 sensational new videos. Celebrate the awesome power of the knockout punch in Boxing Clever. Featuring over 100 devastating KOs from some of boxing's hardest hitters, including Naz, Eubank, Lewis and Ben. Join Reg Gutteridge and Harry Carpenter as they team up to bring you some of the greatest fights ever. Ali Foreman, Ali Frazier, Hagler Hearns and many more legendary bouts. Reg and Harry's classic fight night in Boxing Clever. Buy them both in video.
Fifth round, Derek Roche from Leeds in the Wexford tartan kilt. And Scott Dixon from Hamilton, just outside Glasgow, in the blue, red and yellow. Scott on his waistband, Roche on the back of the kilt, and Rebel on his back. Always wanted to be a fighter, Derek Roche. Got the equivalent of 7 A-levels in Ireland. Became a landscape gardener for a while, but said boxing was for him.
See, again, Dixon been one for holding. That's the one flaw in his boxing tonight has been the fact that he's been grabbing hold every time Roche gets up close. The referee, if he starts becoming annoyed, he's going to start deducting rounds.
Roche trying to get back to work behind the jab. Again, Dixon catches him. His only loss, Scott Dixon, was to Michael Carruth over in Ireland, very narrowly by 1 point. And Carruth says he will give anybody trouble as he develops. He's a tough kid. And he's giving Derek Roche problems tonight.
Yeah, Roche still hasn't been able to shut him down. Dixon's defence has been very good. When Roche gets close, he finds himself punching arms and shoulders in the top of Dixon's head. He just can't open him up.
Another left hand gets through from Dixon. And he's been too square on Roche and too easy to hit.
See, that's been the big difference between the two of them. Dixon's tight defence. He's catching most of what Roche is throwing on his arms, blocking it, whereas his own punches are landing cleanly and they've been seen to land cleanly. And that's just given him the edge in quite a few of the rounds.
He hasn't seemed to settle tonight at all, Derek Roche. Did when he won the title against Charlie Kane back in April. He was down briefly, but floored the Clydebank southpaw, and does Dixon this time. Well, we said don't write off his power. The count gets to 8. Scott Dixon takes a deep breath. Is this the moment that Derek Roche has been waiting for? Well, his extra strength will come into the contest. Dixon looks tired.
He hasn't shaken the effects of that, Adam. He still looks stunned. The bell has come just in time.
Very lucky for Scott Dixon, who goes back wearily to his corner. But a breakthrough for Derek Roche in the 5th round. Let's have a look at it, Jim.
Well, that was a far more powerful punch than the one that caused it the knockdown for Roche in the 1st round. I mean, that was a beauty. You can see the delayed action. His legs just completely left him. And the punch landed. There's a little right-hand lead. And then, bang, it caught him high in the head. It wasn't even the chin. It caught him high in the head. And his legs, just a little delayed reaction thing there. His legs totally disobeyed him. But luckily, the bell rang shortly after that, because I don't think he had recovered from that. That was a lovely punch, a real solid shot.
That is the first time Scott Dixon has ever been floored. The 6th round of the British welterweight title, and what a fight we have on our hands here. Derek Roche in the Wexford tartan and Scott Dixon in the red, blue and yellow. Dixon had Roche down in round 1, but Roche had Dixon down heavier in round 5. And both are starting to be hit now.
Yeah, well, in the previous round, I thought Dixon's boxing was just becoming a little bit ragged. Thought maybe the pace just slowing him down slightly. And then we saw what happened in the last round there. But he still looks good, looks strong. He's recovered now. But I think that bell was a welcome sound to his ears.
Getting back to his boxing now, Scott Dixon.
Hold him on down. Hold him out. Let him go.
But can he keep this man from Leeds off him for long enough? Another left hand from Roche. And Dixon is more wary now. He's felt Roche's power. Remember, Derek Roche wins a Lonsdale belt outright. The rule is normally 4 fights now, but because he won it back in April, before the rule was in effect, he will win it outright tonight if he takes care of Scott Dixon. But that's no certainty. This is close.
Looking a bit more purposeful now, though, the champion. He's still up against this tight defence, but he's getting more punches off. As I say, just looking much more businesslike now.
This may be moving into Derek Roche's territory. Stopped Charlie Kane in the 7th. Beat Georgie Smith on points. Wearing down his men.
See the tape just coming loose on Roche's gloves, so I think when the referee spots that, he's just done that.
Referee John Coyle. And the tape goes on Roche. And Dave Paris makes sure that the glove, the left hand of Derek Roche, the one that knocked Dixon down, is taped up again. And he gets through straight away. This is worrying at times now for the Scot. Body shot from Derek Roche, left hand. I don't know if Scott Dixon can get up from this. There's his power. Dixon tries desperately to get to his feet. Dave Paris has a good look. He looks very tired. Again, the bell comes, probably to save Scott Dixon. Another breakthrough for Derek Roche. What a shot, Jim.
That was a sickener. That was a real sickener of a punch. Once again, thankfully for Scott Dixon, the bell came to his rescue, but that took all the wind out of his sails. Just a beautiful punch under the elbow, bang on the short rib, where there's no muscle for protection, bang, a lovely shot. You could see the way he's gone down there. He did very well to rise from that, but I don't think his lungs will be working properly for the full minute here. he's going to take the full minute to recover from that. That was a tremendous punch. No luck for Roche again. He's inflicted the damage a little bit too late, but still a big round for him now on the card.
Has Scott Dixon had long enough to recover from that? Seventh round, and the round that Derek Roche won this British title back in April, stopping Charlie Kane. He's had Scott Dixon down twice now, but again that tape comes loose. It's the left hand doing too much work.
I think they want to just take the tape off rather than they're putting more tape on the top of the tape that's already there. It's not working. It's obviously a poor quality tape, and as soon as it gets wet, it's lifting all the time. But this has happened right at the start of the round anyway. And it does give Dixon that extra few seconds to recover himself after that torrid sixth. Again, Roche goes for the body. Well, you have to expect Roche to intensify the pressure now, going right at Dixon. Don't let him get settled back down again. Jabs to the head and a right hand. Dixon comes back with a couple of lefts, but I think this is the wrong sort of fight for Scott Dixon. He cannot go into trench warfare with this man, surely. Well, you wouldn't think so, but I think he's feeling the pace himself. I don't think backing off is the answer either. I think maybe all of these title fights come to a point where you just have to prove your worth. And I think this is the time now for young Scott Dixon. He's doing not too badly. Fantastic stuff in the centre of the ring. Both men really want this belt. Roche to keep, Dixon to have. He was at a memorabilia fair a couple of weeks ago, Dixon, and he was looking at that belt, and he really, really wants it. He wouldn't put it round himself. He said he'd do that when he beat Derek Roche. And he's giving it a tremendous go, Scott Dixon. This is a far better fight than I expected it to be. I thought it had been a cagey little battle with Dixon keeping it at long range, but this has been a belter. Right hand from Roche. That looked a good shot. But Dixon back again. A cracking round here in Coventry. Roche smiles. But one feels he's still the stronger. He wobbled with that one. That left hook shaking him up again, Adam. Yes, he's fighting on instinct a little bit now. Big shot from Roche. Again, Dixon comes back at him. But he looks unsteady on his feet. And this could be the moment for Derek Roche. Right uppercut. Surely Dixon can't take much more of it. Dave Paris has a close look. Roche now piling on the pressure, but again Dixon comes back. He turns his man in the corner. What an incredible fighter Scott Dixon is tonight. He's putting everything in. A right uppercut catches him. This is one of the best rounds of boxing I've seen in recent times. Well, how Scott Dixon got through that, I just don't know. Well, I think quite simply it was his defences held together. Because earlier in the round it looked all over for Scott Dixon, but he kept his defences together. And a lot of Roche's punches towards the end of the round, he was managing to catch them. Got his second wind a little bit, just round about this point, and he was able, I mean, I had that round scoring towards Roche for the better quality. But just in the last 30 seconds or so, Dixon turned around, and to be honest, I could not separate the guys in that round. What a tremendous round. As you say, one of the best rounds, certainly in British boxing this year. A little swelling too by Derek Roche's right eye to add to the drama here. Eighth round of this compelling British welterweight title fight. Derek Roche, remember, in the Wexford tartan. He's had Scott Dixon in the blue, yellow and red down twice.
Dixon had Roche down in the very first round. It may just come down to who wants this title more.
And again, Dixon proved that he does have the power to trouble Roche, because he wobbled him in the middle of that round. One punch away from scoring his second knockdown. So he has the power, so maybe he's just going to have to stand his ground and try and do this the hard way. It's not his normal style, but I think it's what's required tonight.
Again, Roche looking for the body of Dixon. That gave him that great breakthrough in the 6th round. A sickener. Dixon tries to get back behind his jab. But it just hasn't been a boxer move contest.
This has been a far better battle than I expected. I thought it was going to be a nip and tuck affair with Roche chasing him all night long. It's been quite the opposite. It's been right there in front of him the whole time.
Uppercut from Dixon going in. Another one. Roche beckons him in. He says, "Come to me." That's probably what he wants. He's a big, strong welterweight, Derek Roche. Not much between them at the weigh-in. 10-6 3/4 for Roche, 10-6 1/4 for Dixon. But we're probably entering into Derek Roche's sort of fight now. Can Dixon hold him off? Well, he's fighting fire with fire here, Scott Dixon. You may not have heard of Dixon before. You will after tonight. It's been a tremendous performance, whatever happens.
Yep, and he's been forced to work with a different style than he's used to. Both guys obviously feeling very tired here. Dixon would like to start using the ring, use his long reach, but he just can't do it. He's having to do it the hard way. What a battle they're both putting up.
Momentarily, Dixon looks the stronger, and Roche holds. The crowd are loving this one here in Coventry. Marking 2 around the forehead of Dixon. Little bump earlier he got. And the left hand catches Roche on the counter. Who do you give that to, Jim?
I thought Dixon just shaded that. Just again, his defence is catching a lot of what Roche was throwing. His own punches landing more cleanly. But these rounds are so close, you have to expect this type of fight can go either way. They've both scored knockdowns. See, Roche is punching definitely the more powerful in that round. But I still think Dixon's defences are holding together, holding well, blocking a lot of the shots. That one ripped right through the guard, but he took it well. But always coming back with something himself.
Well, Scott Dixon, he must be glad he did all those sit-ups, push-ups, miles and miles of running with Martin Bowers, 8 weeks of training. And Derek Roche still getting treatment to that right eye. He's feeling it too a bit now. Round 9 here in Coventry. Scott Dixon putting up a tremendous performance in the blue shorts with a Scott on his waistband. Derek Roche with his back to you now. Roche on his kilt, Rebel on his back. How he loves a fight and how he's had one tonight. But that right eye seems to be closing of Derek Roche, and he holds his glove up to it.
But I don't think his sight is unaffected yet. I don't think the swelling's that bad.
Looks like it's inside the eye, maybe. Both feeling the pace a little now.
Roche looking for the body again.
Normally in a good fight, Derek Roche, and this has been one. That 7th round was quite astonishing. Right to the body from Derek Roche, and Scott Dixon Dixon just couldn't take that shot. Roche raises his hands. Dixon struggles to his feet. How brave a man. Can he carry on? He does. Dave Paris brings them together. Dixon comes back at Roche. Tremendous. Again, this is unbelievable, Jim.
Well, no way did we expect this could possibly be the fight of the year, Adam. But this has been a cracker. Yet another knockdown. Roche was looking for the body earlier on in the round, and again he's caught him with a beauty. But the stamina training young Scot has done is obviously standing in good stead because that's two tremendous body shots he's managed to recover from.
3 times he's been down, Dixon, and he's never been floored in his career in 4 years. But how he got up, I just don't know. Tremendous heart from Dixon. But is Roche now looking to seal the triumph and seal the Lonsdale belt? There's worse damage around his right eye. This isn't over yet. Scott Dixon catches Roche with the left hand, and now Roche goes down. What a shot from Dixon. Can Roche get through this? He nods yes to Dave Paris, who brings them back to battle.
And Roche is looking to clutch Adam. He is still badly shaken. I don't know if he's got much left to offer.
I don't know if either of them have got much left. Scott Dixon throws everything at Roche. Left hands. There's blood coming out of Roche's nose. Drama here at Coventry. In the 9th round, Roche badly cut and badly hurt. In that night, both down. Tremendous drama here.
Well, as I say, who would have thought, Adam, this could turn out to be the fight of the year? But a tremendous body shot. Again, the delayed reaction just took all the wind out of his lungs. Down he went heavily, it recovered quickly. That was a beauty. We actually heard the sickening thump at ringside. That was a tremendous body shot. That looked like a finisher. And he pulls himself together. I've never seen such desire in a young man to become British champion. But he really wants this title. And the head punches that scored the knockdown the other way around, far more damaging.
I talked to Dixon about 7-8 months ago, and he said this was the fight he wanted more than anything in his life. Tenth round of this titanic British welterweight title struggle between Scott Dixon and the champion, Derek Roche. Making the second defence of his title, it could be the last. Can Dixon keep the pressure on him? He had Roche down in that 9th round.
Well, physically at this moment, Dixon looks the better of the two, Adam. Roche does not seem to have recovered. His legs are leaden. He is in serious trouble here. Dixon is really fired up. He really wants it.
Roche holding on, desperate times for the Celt now. Blood from his nose. He's suddenly the one that looks tired, but he pulls out a right hand, which wobbles Dixon. 5 knockdowns so far in this fight. Roche has been down twice in rounds 1 and 9. Dixon 3 times, 5, 6 and 9. And it didn't look like Dixon would get up from a couple of them. This is what boxing is all about.
Well, over the last couple of years, we've seen some tremendous domestic clashes. Just for the good old British title. This will rank with any of them. Is the referee going to step in here because of the damage?
They're going to have a look at the eye. Dave Paris wants that checked. What a shame it would be if it was stopped on this. And he's allowed it to go on. I mean, the only British welterweight title fight this reminds me of, in a different sort of way, is Kevin Lushing and Chris Saunders in their up and down struggle. That only lasted 3. We're already in the 10th here. There's knockdowns, cuts, drama, and heart and desire shown by both fighters.
What is Dixon finding the fresh legs all of a sudden? dancing around the ring. It's just amazing how much tiredness is mental. If you get a lift, it's amazing how it can affect you.
I thought this might be Roche's territory, but Dixon looks fresher on his feet. He's done 101 rounds of sparring, 75 miles on the road, circuit training, 6,000 push-ups, chin-ups. He's trained like never before, and how he's needed to.
I actually think Dixon should be going forward here, because I don't think Roche has anything left. At the start of this round, his legs look gone, there's no snap in his punches. This is a time where Dixon probably happy for the breather himself because of the pace. But if he would start marching forward and getting some power into his punches, I think he could have forced a stoppage in the early part of this round.
Again they hold. They must be tired, but some concerned faces in the corner of Derek Roche. Maybe Dixon looks the pressure. Well, is Derek Roche now in serious danger of losing his title?
Yeah, but I think so. See, this is thankfully the referee, a good experienced referee, and that's exactly what we need in a fight like this. It's bad eye damage, but it's not getting worse. It started to bleed worse, but I don't think that the injury worsened any, so thankfully didn't cause a stoppage there.
Well, Jim, you've got Scott Dixon 2 up with 2 rounds to go, but who knows how referee Dave Paris is scoring this one.
You have to remember we have a couple of rounds where both guys were on the floor. You tend to score those rounds at level. They could be big the other way, but those rounds could determine how the fight's going to go. So many close rounds in this fight. I've just liked Dixon's defence and the sharpness and accuracy of his punching throughout.
6 minutes to go of this British welterweight titanic clash between Derek Roche in the Wexford tartan and Scott Dixon in the blue, yellow and red. Super Scott, shaved into the back of his head, and he has been super tonight, no question about it. The heart Scott Dixon has shown to get up from his 3 knockdowns has been brilliant. Likewise, the heart Derek Roche has shown has been tremendous. But who is going to take these last 2 rounds? Roche only been the 12 rounds once, last time out against Georgie Smith. Scott Dixon too against Michael Carruth. The eye is worsening of Derek Roche. There's tape now loose from Dixon's gloves. It's not surprising because it's all happened.
There's just a little thread coming from Dixon's glove. It's not actually tape. Roche is forcing himself here in the 11th round. He's the one just pushing that a little bit harder. Scott Dixon still, I think, looking for that a little breather that he was looking for in the previous round.
But the blood again around the eye of Derek Roche, giving him trouble as he pumps out his left jab. Is Dixon now starting to tire? That little bit more. Who is going to up the pace first? Roche still looks open to that left hand of Dixon, and every time Dixon seems hurt, he comes back at him.
See, Dixon seems strong enough. His moves, his legs, the way he's moving around the ring, but he just seems to want to take a little breather. You can't blame him, but in a fight as close as this, you can't afford to do that. You have to just give what you've got in every round.
Good right.
He's just sitting back a little bit here.
Sorry, Jim, there. Good right uppercut going in from Derek Roche. Remember, he may be the stronger at the welterweight limit. Dixon has come up from a flyweight as an amateur. And Derek Roche is a tough welterweight, but they've both been tough tonight. Let's not kid ourselves, they've been tremendous and brilliant. And neither really deserves to lose this. Goes for the body, looks a little low.
Still Dixon giving the impression that he's the one looking for the breather here. Roche, he maybe feels he's further ahead in points than we have him.
Who do you have that round to?
I've tightened the gap, I've given that one to Roche. He did all the work. Dixon, for most of the round, seemed to be coasting, seemed to be taking a breather. Himself in his corner may feel he's further ahead, so that tightens right up. As far as I'm concerned, it's all hinging on the last round.
All on this final round. Look at the two of them. They've given so much. 182 punches landed, slightly more from Scott Dixon, maybe the heavier artillery from Derek Roche. They're getting their final instructions for their final 3 minutes of war. Who wants it more?
Always 10 seconds.
And final round of this scintillating British welterweight title here in Coventry. Derek Roche and Scott Dixon have both given so much. Who will win this last 3 minutes? It might come down to this. Roche, of course, has floored Dixon 3 times. Dixon's floored Roche twice. Roche has been hampered by the cut around his right eye. This contest has had everything. Derek Roche can get through these 3 minutes, he may secure that Lonsdale belt and a big street party back in Wexford in Ireland, where he originally comes from. His corner urging him in to break Dixon down in this final round. And how Dixon has been dreaming of this British belt and how he refuses to give up here. Again, the tape for the 3rd time comes loose on the left hand of Derek Roche, but it's done so much work, it's not surprising. Scott Dixon gets a little breather again and takes some advice from Paul Lawson in the corner as they come together again. Have either of them, Jim, got the strength to finish this inside?
Well, they're both obviously so exhausted that exhaustion could finish it, not sheer punching power. But we still have the impression that Dixon is the one who is coasting. Roche is the one who's giving it that little bit extra. You can't separate them in the action of the punches. They're both so tired. But Roche is the one just giving the impression he's digging in that little bit deeper. He did in the 11th round and he's doing it again in the 12th round here.
2 Scots have already won British titles this year. Can Scott Dixon become the 3rd? Both of them lost their titles though, Keith Knox and Drew Docherty. How nice for Hamilton in Glasgow if Scott Dixon can bring them their belt back. He may have trained in London, but his home is Glasgow. 1 minute to go. There's a lot of holding now. Tired men.
Well, I hate to score a championship fight level. I like to find a winner. But the way things are going here, it looks as though on my card, Roche has closed the gap in the last couple of rounds to end up all level. Because again, Dixon seems to be coasting, just looking for that final bell to sound.
Lovely right hand went in there from Derek Roche and an uppercut. As blood streaming now from both eyes of Roche. But he's going for the finish. Right hand catches Dixon and wobbles in. Dixon holds on. How he'll want to see the bell, whatever the result. Such a proud man, Scott Dixon, as he's shown tonight. But has Roche just done enough over the back end of this to win that Lonsdale belt? Let's see. And Derek Roche wins that Lonsdale belt outright. Scott Dixon is amazed. It'll be interesting to see how Dave Parris has scored that. Dixon looks gutted after everything he's done. Jim, you had it a draw.
Yeah, I cannot complain. That was exactly the kind of fight you can never argue with the referee's decision, because so many of the rounds were so close. I had Dixon 2 points in front with 2 rounds to go, but I scored both of the last 2 rounds to Derek Roche, level on my card, so I had him retaining his championship through a draw. I'm going to be very interested to hear Dave Parris's mathematics here, how he actually scored the fight.
Well, Derek Roche may still be British champion, but Scott Dixon looks down at us at ringside. He cannot believe it. It surely was one of the British title fights of the decade. Let's see how Dave Parris added the scores up.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Dave Parris has insisted that you congratulate both boxers on 12 very hard-fought rounds. Thank you very much indeed. His scorecard reads: for Dixon, 114 points. For Roche, 117 points. The winner, and the outright winner of the coveted Lonsdale belt, the British welterweight champion.
Well, Roche wins by 3 rounds, and I think that may be a little bit too wide. It was a closer, more titanic fight than that, Jim.
Well, as I say, I'm never going to argue with the referee's decision in a fight like that. So many of the rounds close. I had it a lot closer than that. Obviously, I couldn't have it any closer. I had it level. But no, that surprises me. No way did I say. I thought Roche was struggling in a great part of tonight's action.
Well done to both men for such a terrific performance in the ring here in Coventry. Derek Roche wins the title. Scott Dixon wins many people's hearts with his desire and courage. Derek Roche, Scott Dixon, what a titanic struggle. How could the referee separate you? Derek first.
Well, personally, going into the last round, I thought he was a couple of rounds ahead. But my trainer told me that, you know, I needed a big last round. I thought I won the last round, you know, but you
basically thought Scott had won it?
I thought he was ahead. I thought he was a couple of rounds ahead. Like I say, after see the video, you know, you never can tell, but got me some good shots, very good.
That's very honest of him, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, very. I respect that. Derek's a great fighter. I gave it a real good go, but I did think I won the fight by at least 3 rounds. To be honest, that's my interpretation. I really did think I was ahead. My trainers kept telling me, you're ahead, you're ahead. Just keep boxing, keep boxing. I tried, but it wasn't enough.
You were down 3 times. How on earth did you get up from some of those shots?
Yeah, he caught me a beautiful shot round the side, and I was just trying to hold it. I suppose I have damage there, but...
Did you think he'd get up?
I didn't think he... I thought the head shots, yeah, because I think I caught him high on the forehead. But the body shot, I thought, no way will he get up. And, you know, I take my hat off to him, greatest respect, he got up. There's a lot of guys wouldn't have got up from that. I caught him perfect. You know, you can feel the punch sinking into his body, and he took it. Fair play.
You win that Lonsdale belt outright, but surely the hardest fight of your career. And can you let Scott have a little touch of it?
Here, he deserves it. He deserves it.
Please, let me have that next.
Personally, I think he will win one. You know, without a problem. I think he's the next best welterweight in the country.
Well done tonight, both of you, for such a titanic battle.
Thanks very much.
Astonishing grit from both, I think you'll agree. Nicky Piper, did you agree with the decision?
I wouldn't disagree with it. It could have gone either way, and it was a very exciting fight. Don't forget, it was 3 knockdowns to 2, which means that there's 3 10-8 rounds to 2 10-8 rounds. There's two points advantage there on the knockdowns alone. And as they said in the interview, I mean, both fighters did very well to get up from the knockdowns. That one wasn't so bad, but this one, delayed reaction, the legs suddenly go. Yeah. Quite comical if you look at it, really, but it was a serious incident in the fight, and Dixon did very well to get up, more so from these knockdowns. The body punches were great. He's not looking there, and if you're not seeing a punch coming, it's hard to tense up and tense those stomach muscles. Bit of inexperience, but he'll need to overcome that. But he threw 3 or 4 left hooks, which Roche blocked, and then the 4th one got through. Again, it amazes me.
Robert McCracken.
Yeah, it was a very close fight. If you wanted Roche's aggression or Dixon's boxing ability, but what Dixon's got to learn from that is he coasted the last 2 rounds, and you just can't do that in a championship fight.
Chris, do you share the enthusiasm of our commentators tonight that this was a memorable fight of the decade contender?
Well, you see, in regards to grit, yes, and staying power, not quitting, yes, very, very good, very good. Brings me to it makes me think of a poem. It goes like this.
I wonder when you'd get to that. Go on then.
Okay,
Now's your moment. But be quick,
Where's my camera?
That one's straight in front of you.
Okay, here we go. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. You see, life is filled with twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure turns about where he might have won had he stuck it out. So don't give up though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near, but seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. Which is what those men didn't do. They did not quit, which is why it's, well, showing valor and grit is the way in which to conduct yourself while fighting. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed. You've made a big impression on Robert McCracken in particular. Just sum up that one for us in terms of where these fighters are going, Robert. At welterweight, Roche first.
Yeah, I think Roche will relinquish the British title now and try and get a shot at the European. As for Dixon, he's got to regroup and come again, and hopefully they'll match Spencer McCracken with Scott Dixon for the title.
More prosaically, here's a summary of all we've brought you from Coventry. The first half of our big bill tonight, we started with the welterweight title match between Spencer McCracken and Peter Malinga of South Africa. Sadly, it went for Malinga. Sadly for the McCracken family, at least. Ensley Bingham knocked out in 2 rounds at middleweight tonight against Mpush Makambi, again of South Africa. That was something of a shock, and so was Richard Everett's brief outing for the Commonwealth super featherweight title. It ended in 1 round. We believe Everett has broken his jaw against Mick O'Malley of Australia, and the Aussie's the new champ. Dean Pithie had no problem sweeping aside Francis Kiwanuka tonight to retain his WBC International Super Featherweight title. Pithie dreaming of bigger matches and a thriller for the British welterweight title, as we've just shown you. True grit, as Mr. Eubank would say, as Roche hangs on to his British welterweight crown after 12 hard, gruelling rounds against the brave Scottish youngster, Scott Dixon. Some final thoughts on all of the above from Coventry now with Jim and Adam. Not there, I'm told. Sorry about that. We hope to link up again with Jim and Adam Smith again in just a moment or two. Just on Spencer, your brother here, Robert, has he been encouraged by what he's seen in the British welterweight title match there? Because I must put this to you all. I didn't see a lot of difference between the standard that your brother had reached in his fight and the standard of the British welterweight title fight tonight. He's got to be encouraged by that, hasn't he?
Oh, he's encouraged because obviously Malinga was a couple of notches above British title standard. But the fighters that box for the British title this evening is in with more than a chance of beating either of those. So obviously he'll be encouraged to come forward and challenge for it.
Let's go back to Coventry now. I think we can join up with Adam and Jim.
Well, Paul, I just felt physically drained watching that fight. Derek Roche, Scott Dixon, Jim, got to be one of the fights of the year.
Yeah, the biggest surprise of the night, certainly. It was a wonderful fight, and thankfully the referee managed to find a clear winner, which is more than I could do. A little bit surprised with his scoring, but you couldn't argue with one of those kind of fights. A great fight.
Brave, brave performances from both men.
Yeah, and we didn't expect it. That was the nice thing. That was definitely the fight of the night. It was wonderful to watch, wonderful to work on.
Mixed other performances, though, from the Brits.
Well, mixed results, yes. A lot of bad luck, but little Dean Pithie, thankfully, his show is still on the road. And we've already made match. They may be talking about it already, O'Malley and Pithie, for the Commonwealth title. Why not?
Let's look ahead to Detroit. Eric Morales, Wayne McCulloch, who do you fancy?
Yeah, you got to go with Morales. He's boxing so well, not putting a foot wrong. I think McCulloch showed against Naz that is the chin to give anybody troubles. He can work at a pace for 12 rounds, but you still got to stick with Morales.
And the big one, Nassim Hamad, Cesar Soto.
Yeah, again, I fancy Naz to beat Soto. It's how well he does it and in what manner. If he's as bad as he was before, if Emmanuel Stewart hasn't improved him, then I can see a drab points victory. But if the attitude is better as we would expect it to be, maybe a late stoppage, but I still go with the points. That's my prediction.
Well, Paul, it's been a mixed night for the Brits here in Coventry. Let's hope it's a better one in Detroit.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's where we go next, live.